I never lose. And that, my friends, is karate.
Do you remember 2005, the year YouTube was born? When we were all texting on flip phones and rocking out to Green Day's American Idiot and arguing over whether the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3 would win the console war? Maybe you're updating your MySpace top 8 or trying to convince your parents the internet wasn't just a fad. Well, strap in because we're hopping on the nostalgia train back to 2005, a year that didn't just give us some of the best games of all time, but changed gaming forever. Some of these games started massive franchises, while others redefined entire genres. And one, well, it took over the world.
You succeeded.
Now let's count down the 5 biggest games of 2005, the ones that didn't just dominate back then, but still influence gaming today. At number 5, we have a game that wasn't just played, it was felt. Shadow of the Colossus wasn't just about grinding levels or cinematic cutscenes. It was about emotion, beauty, tragedy. It made you question what it really meant to be a hero. Colossus wasn't just a boss, it was a puzzle, a towering mystery that you had to climb, outthink, and ultimately destroy. And every victory felt like a loss. The game didn't tell you how to feel, it let you experience it. That's why it's still studied in game design courses today. IGN called it a rare and extraordinary piece of game in history. GameSpot named it one of the greatest games of all time. And even Hideo Kojima, the man behind Metal Gear, said he wished he had made it himself. Shadow of the Colossus didn't just push the boundaries of gameplay, it proved that games could be art.
The path before Kratos was clear, but still, the memories came rushing back, as familiar and permanent as the blades chained to his wrists. Memories of what he'd done in the name of Ares. Memories of how he'd become a servant to the god of war. A beast, his humanity robbed and replaced only with the will to murder.
Now coming in at number 4, God of War. Now back in 2005, if you wanted to feel like an absolute beast, this was the game. Kratos wasn't just a character, he was a force of nature. This was brutal, over the top, mythological carnage like we'd never seen before. The combat was smooth, the puzzles were challenging, and the set pieces, mind-blowing. But what really set God of War apart was its fearless approach to mature storytelling. It didn't just include violence, it was part of the world, part of the character. The game dared to imagine that gamers could handle themes of rage, revenge, loss, and consequences of unchecked power. It didn't hold back and it didn't apologize.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me.
I will send you back to the depths of Hades!
It was a critical and commercial juggernaut. God of War won Game of the Year from the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences, and IGN called it one of the best action games ever made. It didn't just start a new franchise, it started a new standard for cinematic action games. And nearly 20 years later, Kratos is still ruling the gaming world. At number 3, we have a game that didn't just reinvent a franchise, it reinvented an entire genre, Resident Evil 4.
¡Os voy a romper a pedazos!
Detrás de ti, imbécil.
Before 2005, survival horror games were clunky, slow, and built around tank controls. But Resident Evil 4 flipped the script. Over-the-shoulder camera, revolutionary. The fast-paced, intelligent enemies, terrifying. The game pacing, level design, and action elements turned it from just another horror game into one of the most influential third-person shooters ever. And the industry took notice. Metacritic scored it a 96. Game developers borrowed from it for years. Without Resident Evil 4, you don't get Dead Space, The Last of Us, or even modern Gears of War. And when Capcom remade it in 2023, it won Game of the Year at the Game Awards. Resident Evil 4 wasn't just a hit, it was a blueprint for the future of action horror. Second place goes to a game that launched a juggernaut. Call of Duty 2 didn't just improve on its predecessor, it defined the modern first-person shooter. In 2005, military shooters were everywhere, but Call of Duty 2 was the one that felt real. The sound design, the squad-based tactics, intensity of every battle, it puts you in the trenches like no game before.
I got you, soldier! This one's from Tennessee!
And it changed how we played shooters online. This was the game that brought the Call of Duty multiplayer experience to a whole new level, paving the way for the franchise to dominate the gaming world. Critics and players agreed. GameSpot called it a generation-defining shooter, and it launched it with the Xbox 360 helping Microsoft console take off. It was the start of something massive. Today, Call of Duty is one of the most successful franchises in entertainment history, and it all traces back to the game that proved war shooters could be fast, cinematic, and addictive. And at number one, we have not just a game, but a global phenomenon. World of Warcraft.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
Oh my god, he just ran in. Save him! Oh jeez, stick to the plane! Oh jeez, let's go. Stick to the
World of
plane.
Warcraft. In 2005, World of Warcraft wasn't just the biggest MMO. It was the MMO. It shattered records, pulling in over 5 million subscribers by the end of the year. No game before or since has had the same impact on an online gaming culture. It wasn't just a game you played, it was a world you lived in. It created friendships, rivalries, even real-world economies. People skipped work, stayed up all night, and built entire communities around Azeroth. IGN called it one of the most important video games ever made. PC Gamer said it defined an entire generation of gaming. And today, MMOs still chase the magic that Blizzard captured in 2005. Love it or hate it, World of Warcraft changed the industry forever. And that's why it's the biggest game of 2005. 2005 wasn't just another year. It was a turning point. A year that brought us gods, giants, zombies, and entire worlds. Which of these games do you think had the biggest impact? Drop a comment and hit that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into gaming history. Until next time, game on.